Hello Cap. My name is Linda. I am your first officer today.
Hello, Linda. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you.
I believe this is your first time flying with me, so I'll explain what I'm doing throughout the entire flight. Okay, today we are flying from Glacier Park, Montana to Missoula, Montana, KGPI to KMSO. The weather is rainy and cloudy with reduced visibility, so the DME ARC ILS approach into runway 12 at Missoula will be challenging. Alright, let's get the panel lighting turned on in the radio stack, the floods at 50%. And let's see what's going on behind the cockpit doors. Everything looks good. Let's get the panel lighting turned up on the overhead and also on the circuit breaker. Let's turn both windshield wipers on to low. It's raining outside. And let's go over to the tablet here and let's look at our flight plan. Okay, we're looking for KGPI to KMSO. Alright, taking off from Glacier Park, go to the Huckley waypoint, and turn toward the Angel waypoint, and turn towards the Amibi waypoint, and then fly DME ARC until we get to the D303Y waypoint, and then intercept the localizer into runway 12 at Missoula.
Runway 1307, right at Whiskey, take off.
Okay, let's look at the KGPI airport diagram. Alright. So we can see the ATIS for this airport is 132.625. And the exact runway 20 heading is 201.
Delta 2434, Tyrone, get you right at Whiskey, line up away.
Okay, let's go look at our approach plate for runway 12 and the KMSO. Alright, see that the localizer frequency is 109.3, the station name is IMSO. Approach course is 117 degrees. Touchdown zone elevation is 3,200 feet. And there's the Amibi waypoint, and then the DME ARC into runway 17. And we'll be using a decision height of 200 feet for this ILS approach. Alright, let's go listen to the ATIS.
Ryan Field weather. Wind calm, RVR 1700, rain. Sky conditions indefinite overcast, 5800 overcast, temperature 11, dew point 11. Altimeter 2952.
Alright, let's go back to the tower. Alright, let's set our barrel to 29.52.
Brickyard 3462, Tyrone, get you right at Whiskey, line up away.
The right Whiskey line up and wait for 1034.
And same thing for the standby indicator. Alright, let's turn on the pilot's flight director and the co-pilot's flight director.
Delta 2434, contact unit, volume, safe flight.
Let's tune in ground.
Departure Delta 2434.
And let's file our flight plan. Okay, we'll Huckley, Angel, Namibi, flight level 140. Let's insert our flight plan. Let's request our IFR clearance. Glacier Park ground, good evening. Zibo 7378 request IFR clearance to Missoula as filed.
Zibo 7378, cleared to Missoula via runway 20 departure. Initial altitude 7,000 feet. Squawk 2020.
Cleared to Missoula via runway 20 departure. Initial altitude 7,000 feet. Squawk 2020, Zibo 7378. Okay, let's set our transponder to 2020.
Zibo 7378, read back correct. Contact me again for startup. Set the transponder code 2020 as instructed.
Good morning, Claire Scout 3664.
Okay, let's go over to the CDU here.
That was 3664. You put about that via the small 2 RNAV departure.
Okay, let's go into the FMC menu and position in it. We are at KGPI. And that is also our origin. Destination is KMSO. And our flight number is Zibo 7378.
Players got a 1430 Little Rock.
Let's go to the departure arrival menu. We'll select our departure out of KGPI. It's going to be runway 20. Let's select route. Go into the next page. Okay, first waypoint is HUCKL. Followed by Angel, ANGIL. Followed then by Amibi, EMIBE.
Air Shuttle 612, Washington. Air Shuttle 612, Atlanta, clearance will be cleared to Washington Dulles Airport via the Jack 2 or now departure Kelly transition at 5.
Okay, so go to the departure arrival page. Select our KMSO arrival.
Alright, cleared Washington.
It's going to be ILSY12. It's the Amibi transition. Select route, select activate, and press the execute button. Okay, let's go back to the tablet. Let's go back home. Let's go into our fuel weight and balance, and let's enter our payload. Payload for this flight is 2,300 pounds. Let's go over to page 1. Our fuel for this flight is going to be 25,000 pounds. Gives us a takeoff weight CG of 20.9%.
That's 2688.
Hey, friend, we got our clearance that tells us there's an ATC delay program planned to push at 2344, which is about 15, 20 minutes
And let's
ago.
bring that chart up
We're not gonna
again
be able
for
to push
future
probably
reference.
For about 10, 15 minutes. Is that going to be okay?
Oh, sorry, what was your number? 20
Okay, let's go back to the CDU.
2688.
Go into the performance and net screen. Let's autofill our zero fuel weight. Okay, our reserves are going to be 2,000 pounds. Cost index is going to be 50.
It's probably going to be 10, 15 minutes till we can push.
Okay, I'll let them know behind me for traffic management.
Okay, thanks.
And our cruise altitude is flight level 140. cruise winds are 284 degrees at 11 knots.
That was 2688.
Go ahead.
ISA deviation is -1.
0035, wheels up.
Let's press the execute key.
0035 now.
Go to the N1 limit page.
0035 for Delta 2688.
Autofill our outside air temperature. Let's go into the takeoff page, and our flaps are 5, which is standard. And our CG, if you remember, was 20.9%. The stab trim value of 5 degrees. Go into the next page. Runway wind is basically non-existent. 250 degrees at 02 knots. And our runway heading, if you remember, was 201.
Boutique 438 Atlanta clearance, cleared to Shoals Airport via the Atlanta 9 departure, west 2 vector. Again, to the right.
Okay, let's go back to the previous page. Gives us a V1 of 125, a V rotate of 126, and a V2 of 136.
3105.
438 clear to Muscle Shoals, easy Atlanta 9, west 2, gas direct, climb to 4, expect 1610 after departure 126.97, squawk
Okay, let's go
310.
into the legs button. And let's switch up here and go to plan mode. And let's step through our flight plan. So that's Huckley, Angel, Amibi, D303Y, and then the approach into runway 12. Back into the legs button, legs menu. Okay, let's set our flight altitude to 14,000, our landing altitude to 3,200.
I'm showing you proposed 0030. So you have
Okay, Linda. Runway turn-off lights on.
Runway turn-off lights on.
Taxi lights on.
Taxi lights on.
Wing lights on.
Wing lights on.
Beacon light on.
Already on.
All right, let's set up our radios here.
Secured. Have a good flight.
The MSO VOR is 112.80.
And to make sure
And the ILS is 109.3.
2625.
Flaps 5 set.
Alright, that was 126.
Same thing for nav 2.
Clear to Indianapolis
1280.
Airport, to Arnett departure, rescue transition, and net as filed. Maintain 109.3. Expect flight level 24010 minutes after departure. Squawk 7170.
Okay, our radios are all set. Set our V2 value to 136.
10,000,
And let's arm the auto throttle. Auto throttle is armed.
2625, read back correct.
Okay, Linda. Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure.
So 938 clear Charlottesville via the Kentucky 2 or nav departure. Bob, transition as filed. Climb maintain 10,000. Squawk 35.
Before taxi procedure complete. I am ready for before taxi checklist. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff.
Before taxi checklist.
So 938 read back correct. Have a good day.
Before taxi checklist. Generators on. Probe heat on. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall.
Checked.
Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Idle detent.
Idle detent. Flight control.
Alright, let's bring up the flight control page. Okay, elevator. Left aileron. Right aileron. Left rudder. Right rudder. Checked.
Checked. Flaps.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set. Green light. Detent. Ground equipment.
Clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist complete. Ready for taxi.
Set stabilizer for takeoff.
Trim up.
Okay, let's go in here to VOR mode and set our course to 164. Okay, let's request taxi. Glacier Park ground, good evening. Zibo 7378 is ready for taxi.
Zibo 7378, taxi to runway 20. Contact tower on 124.550 when on holding point.
Taxi to runway 20. Contact tower on 124.550 when on holding point. Zibo 7378. Okay, let's taxi to runway 20. Go straight ahead, take a right on the taxiway B, and then a left on the taxiway B1.
Okay, November 525 Romeo Charlie. I'm going to make it a hold for release clearance. Clear to Foxtrot, connect Delta Airport via direct. On and maintain 3000. Departure at this frequency. Squawk 2602. Hold for release. How are you looking up on that whole thing? The guy just cut you off on the other radio. Try it again for 5 Romeo Charlie.
Okay, we are on. Take a left up here on taxiway B1. We are currently on taxiway B.
525 Romeo Charlie is on number 1014 at Lincoln. I'll have our clearance. November 525 Romeo Charlie, can you hear me? Got you loud and clear now. For 5 Romeo Charlie, depart runway 14, fly runway heading, maintain 3000.
Zibo 7378, contact tower on 124.550. Have a nice flight.
Contact tower on 124.550. Zibo 7378. Landing lights on. Beacon light on.
Already on.
Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure complete. Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set. Green light. Detent. Stabilizer trim. 50 units set. Transponder. TARA set. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Okay, let's contact the tower. And let's make our request for takeoff. Glacier Park Tower, good evening. Zibo 7378 on holding point of runway 20, ready for departure.
Zibo 7378, wind is calm, runway 20, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 20, Zibo 7378. Alright, let's turn on the terrain radar. Weather radar.
Ready with you, clear for takeoff. They're right with you, clear for takeoff, breakdown at 160.
And let's taxi on to runway 20.
Approaching 20.
Runway 20 confirmed.
On runway 20.
Alright, let's turn on the cockpit timer. And let's verify we have symmetrical thrust.
Stabilized.
And toga.
Takeoff thrust set. knots.
80 knots.
Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up. Zibo 7378, altimeter 29.52. Contact center on 132.050, bye. Acceleration altitude.
Altimeter 29.52. Contact center on 132.050. Goodbye, Zibo 7378. Here's contact center. And let's make our initial call. Center, good evening. Zibo 7378 at 5,200 feet.
Zibo 7378, you are 1,800 feet below your clearance altitude, climb and maintain 7,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Zibo 7378.
1,000 to level off. Zibo 7378, turn left heading 147, climb to 14,000 feet.
Turn left heading 147, climb to 14,000 feet, Zibo 7278.
Thousand to go.
speed up to 200 knots.
Dakota 15, contact 133.5.
Flaps 2 set. Flaps 1 set.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds. Flaps up set. On. Packs. Auto. Landing gear. Up and off. Flaps. Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off. Up. No light. Detent. After takeoff checklist down to the line complete.
Okay, let's set our decision height at 200 feet. And let's set our landing data to be flaps 30, 136 knots. Back into the legs menu. Okay, looks like we're above the weather here, so we can turn off the windshield wipers.
Zibo 7378. Expect runway 12.
Expect runway 12, Zibo 7378.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
Ready for descent procedure.
Forget 2600, clear at Canoa. Ricanoa, Delta Air moderate to experience precipitation from your tender to a fall and down 5 miles, your test down for 10 miles.
Zibo 7378. Turn right heading 162.
Turn right heading 162, Zibo 7378.
Contact center 124.55.
VOR mode.
5 today,
Speed up to 250 knots here. Okay, let's complete our approach briefing. Alright, our ILS frequency is 109.3. We're going to be flying the ILS-Y runway 12 approach into KMSO. Station name is IMSO. The approach course is 117 degrees. Touchdown zone elevation is 3,200 feet. We'll be using a decision height of 200 feet. And we'll have flaps 30 with a VREF of 136 knots. Descent procedure.
Descent procedure.
Orange 821, contact the center 135.1.
Descent procedure complete. Ready for descent checklist.
Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Landing altitude.
Landing altitude 3,200 set. Recall.
Checked.
Auto brake.
Auto brakes 2.
Set. Landing data.
Flaps 30, 136 knots.
V reference 136. Minimums 200 set. Approach briefing.
Complete.
Complete. Descent checklist complete. Zibo 7378, descend to 11,000 feet.
Descend to 11,000 feet, Zibo 7378.
KLM 689, contact center 135.1. 135.1, KLM 689,
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist. Approaching transition. Localizer capture.
Good afternoon, Deck 392, 735 feet, 300 at Indy. Deck 392, Roger.
1000 to level off.
1,000 to go.
Just turn on the windshield wipers.
Black Canyon Ranch weather. Wind calm, RVR 1700, rain. Sky conditions indefinite overcast, 5200 overcast, temperature 10, dew point 11. Altimeter 2952.
Turn right, we're heading at 250.
Flaps 2 set.
Roger, and Max.
Flying the DME arc.
Bags of 21 minutes.
Try and maintain DME 25.0.
Zibo 7378, turn left heading 230.
Turn left heading 230, Zibo 7378. So we're flying a DME arc, so we're not going to do that exactly.
53, contact 128.2.
6 degrees, 260.
22, American 1753.
We'll get to DME 25. And back to 250.
Brickyard 3602, routine 5 for 230. Roger, climb maintain flight level 310.
24.8, that's pretty close.
310, Brickyard 3602.
24.9.
United 2140, after delayed, clear direct Leeville, climb maintain flight level 340. Charlie Bravo, request on course for weather.
Yeah, slow down to 170. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set.
Flaps 10.
Flaps 10 set. Logo lights switches, off.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 15 set.
And speed 150. Flaps 30.
Okay, Air Canada 956 cleared direct via Savannah, flight plan 410, we're in the climb, Air Canada.
Flaps 30 set.
Okay, let's turn left to heading 150 there, set the localizer.
Denver 511 Echo Charlie, contact center 128.22.
Zibo 7378, descend to 6,200 feet.
Descend to 6,200 feet. Zibo 7378.
American 1302, descend to the Sandbar 2 arrival, landing east, Altimeter 29995. And via Sandbar, landing east, 2995, American 1302.
All right, let's go in and tune in the ILS now, 109.3. And let's put this into the approach mode. And let's rotate the course now to 117.
Denver 3800, Passenger, contact center on 132.
Flight level 100, landing light switches on.
And let's go to 5 nautical mile range. Okay, localizer active, let's arm approach. Localizer capture. Gear down.
Gear down. Ready for landing checklist.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Continuous. Speed brake.
Armed.
Armed. Landing gear.
Down.
Ground 3373, contact center 132.85.
Down. Flaps.
Flaps 30.
Set for landing. Landing
Okay,
checklist complete. Zibo 7378, turn left heading 117. 1000 to level off.
Turn left heading 117, Zibo 7378. Let's set our heading knob for our missed approach, 117.
2,500.
Zibo 7378, cleared for ILS approach runway 12. Contact tower on 118.400 when established. Bye.
Cleared for ILS approach runway 12. Contact tower when established on 118.400. Zibo 7378. Okay, we have not captured the glide slope yet, so we are not established. Okay, glide slope active.
Glide slope capture.
Glide slope capture. All right, let's contact the tower and make our initial call. Missoula Tower, Zibo 7378 approaching runway 12.
Zibo 7378, identified. Continue your approach.
Go 2789, contact your park, step 5. Go to park,
Let's bring down the HUD. Move forward in our seat. Turn on the flight path vector.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing. Zibo 7378, wind is calm.
1000.
Runway 12, cleared to land.
Cleared to
Taxi
land.
lights on.
Runway 12, Zibo 7378. Okay, let's disengage the auto throttle and maintain 141 knots.
Approaching 12.
500, cleared to land runway 12.
400. 300. Approaching decision height.
Runway in sight.
200. Minimum. 100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20.
Deep landing,
10.
deep landing, 7,000 feet remaining.
Speed brake up. Reverse unlocked. Auto brake in use. Zibo 7378. Contact ground on 121.900. 60 knots. Nice landing. Really not bad this time.
Contact ground on 121.900. Zibo 7378.
Thank you for checking cross runway 29 Romeo, and you'll be full line.
Okay, let's contact ground. Make our initial call. Missoula ground, Zibo 7378 on runway 12.
Zibo 7378. Taxi to gate 3B. Flaps up set.
Taxi to gate 3B, Zibo 7378. Okay, taxiway A3.
Gareth, 4050 push your discretion. Runway 3, stay in the gate.
Where you are at Bravo 8, push your discretion.
Gareth, 4050, roger, check runway 3.
Landing lights off. All right, let's look at our landing plot, see how we did.
7867 November, runway 3. Taxi via Bravo, Delta, Echo, cross runway 8 on Delta, and hold short of Charlie on Echo.
Oh, the nose gear bounce.
Delta Echo, cross runway 8 at Delta.
262 feet per minute. 129 knots. Started our flare, I don't know how you measure it. Flare lasted 13 seconds. Throttle down at 27 feet. 1.5 Gs. Bounced pretty bad.
Now it's 220, runway 3. Taxi via Alpha 3.
All right, that concludes this video.
Cross runway 8, hold short runway 12 at Echo 3.